third day of October. The purpose tip of the day is to encourage you all to remember the events that took place today, October 3rd, 1993. That was when we had 19 Americans killed in action, 73 wounded in action in Mogadishu, Somalia. We begin our shows with something that Maxine Waters would love to have banned nationwide. That would be the Pledge of Allegiance. I do pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our prepper tip of the day is a bit out of the ordinary. First of all, to remember the events that took place 26 years ago today, October 3rd, 1993, the Battle of Mogadishu. We had 19 Americans killed in action, 73 Americans wounded in action, all because of the misguided, wrong things ordered by the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, and the Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, at the time. These events are documented fairly accurately in the film Black Hawk Down, and a friend of mine was there. He was in Mogadishu during this event on October 3rd, 1993. He still can't talk publicly about it, and he can barely talk privately about it because of the emotions involved. And this is a tough guy. He's one of the toughest men I know. Green Beret, family man, father, smart guy, tough guy. But I did ask him at one point to come on and discuss his personal observations of what took place October 3rd, October 4th, 1993. And he said, John, I can't do that. And I understand that. If you haven't watched the film Black Hawk Down, you need to. If you watched it, you probably need to watch it again. Now, this goes to the matter of firearms and calibers. Now, the opposition there, they're called the militias in Mogadishu, Somalia. These were mostly young black males, typically tall, thin men in that part of the world, and their nickname in the U.S. Army called them skinnies. That's what they called them, skinnies. And they wore very loose clothing, which kind of amplified the appearance of being skinny. Regardless, the Americans on the ground during this battle, the Army Rangers were carrying M16, M4 carbines, basically the same rifle. The M4 carbine is a short version of the M16, same caliber, 5.56 NATO. And then there was a few Delta Force guys. Delta troops, they have more flexibility in the armaments, and they had M14s, which shoots the 7.62 NATO cartridge. Now, if you watch carefully, when you watch this film, you'll see the Rangers will shoot the skinnies once, twice, 3 times, and they're still running despite having hit once, twice, 3 times with that 5.56 NATO round, M16, M4 cartridge. The Delta guys with their M14s, 1 shot, 1 skinny down. 1 shot, 1 skinny down. Now, there's another aspect of this. There's a high likelihood that pretty much all of the Somali militia members were chewing a narcotic plant called khat. It's spelled Khat, Kilo Hotel Alpha Tango, khat. Very popular in that part of the world in Somalia. It's a narcotic. There's no two ways about it. It's a narcotic, which acts as a stimulant and also makes the people who take it not feel pain in the normal sense that people would feel pain. So the combination of the two, of these militiamen, first of all, they were Muslims, of course, and they knew that the moment they died fighting jihad, which is what they considered this battle, that they would be instantly in the Muslim version of heaven with their 72 9-year-old virgins. Pretty good deal. If you grow up in a situation where you've never seen a flush toilet and don't know what hot and cold running water is, it's a pretty good deal. The deployment of these Americans was wrong. The conditions were wrong. They did not have the support they needed. It was kind of an earlier version of what happened in Benghazi quite a few years later, where the other half of the Clinton family was Secretary of Defense, Hillary Clinton, by the way. There was no vital U.S. national interest at stake. It was a United Nations operation. The Americans should not have been there in the first place, on one hand. If they were being deployed, they should have been deployed with American support, American armor, American artillery, American everything. That's what should have happened. But going back to these rifles, I've observed, as many people have, the incredible popularity of this 5.56 needle cartridge and M16 AR-15 platform. It's undeniably the most popular centerfire semi-automatic rifle in this country ever. There's no denying that. That would be pointless to deny it. On one hand. On the other, after half a century, the Army is finally walking away from that 5.56 cartridge. We knew from the beginning in Vietnam, half a century ago, that the cartridge was inadequate when it came to stopping power. What's the point? We had some armchair generals in the Pentagon doing analysis not based on combat experiences, but based on what they thought would be the right thing to do. Oh, look at how we can have more cartridges per pound per soldier. So that's a better deal than that heavy, old-fashioned 7.62 NATO cartridge. So we're going to give our guys this 22 caliber rifle to shoot at the enemy and defend themselves and defend liberty. My buddies, now I was very blessed. I was not forced to use an M16 in Vietnam. I had several different firearms, weapons I carried, M14, M1 carbine, M1 Thompson, and of course my trusty 45 that was with me pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But my buddies who did have M16s, several that were on these PBRs, these river patrol boats, what's called the Brown Water Navy, they were stuck out there in these canals. Some of these canals were no wider than a 2-lane highway with the jungle right up to the edge of the water. Very dangerous. They said, John, we have to keep, at least each of us has 3 of these M16s. Your average firefight would last anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes may not sound like a very long time, but it's forever and you're being shot at. So they said, John, we pick up that first M16, we shoot it, maybe a couple hundred rounds until it jams, throw it down, pick up the next M16, shoot it until it jams, and pick up the third one, and hopefully by the time the third one jams, which of course it will, we've been able to get away from the ambush and the firefight's over. Nothing's changed in half a century. When you hear my friend Sam Andrews talking about converting the direct impingement AR-15, which is what almost all of you have, to piston-driven, pay attention, wake up and smell the coffee. The piston-driven AR-15 eliminates the issues of the direct impingement AR-15, which is what almost all of you have out there. Almost all of you. So the M4 carbines, that are carried by American soldiers on the 3rd day of October 2019. The M16s carried by our soldiers today, they have the same problem that M16s had half a century ago, that around 250, 300 rounds. Now, 300 rounds may sound like a lot. That's 10 magazines. Yeah, you can go through 10 magazines in a firefight in a heartbeat. That after about 10 magazines, these things are going to start jamming. I don't care how clean it is, how new it is, it's going to start jamming on you. Eugene Stoner was a brilliant firearms engineer. He designed the M16. He realized within a couple of years the inherent design defects in that particular firearm, and he went on to engineer and design the AR-18, the semi-automatic version of the AR-180, which I owned one of those for 40 years. I finally sold it. The collector's value got to the point where I just couldn't justify keeping it anymore. Eugene Stoner corrected the inherent issues with his own design when he designed the AR-18, AR-180 series. Thank you, Eugene. He's since passed on. Brilliant man, good guy. Point being, this discussion, if you own an AR-15, and I know there's probably a couple of thousand of you listening to me right now, this morning, October 3rd, 2019, who own an AR-15, you really, really need to do one of two things. Either get rid of the darn thing or bite the bullet, spend the money, and get that rifle, that carbine, converted to piston drive. You seriously need to do that. And have it done by a competent professional who knows what he's doing, so you don't end up with even a worse nightmare. This is not something you want to try at your kitchen table. And there's wannabe pretend gunsmiths out there who have no credentials, have never graduated from a gunsmithing school, who don't have proper tools, don't have proper training, but they will take your money and work on your firearm. Don't do it. Don't do it. You want a certified gunsmith with the proper credentials, the proper tools, the proper knowledge to do this work properly, so that your end product is in fact a reliable, safe, accurate firearm. That would be a wise thing to do, don't you think? I believe so. There's going to be an article posted. Well, I think we've already got it. It's not going to be. It already is. At my website at thelibertyman.com. Mike Adams, I've been hoping to meet Mike in person for a number of years. It will happen at some point. But Mike Adams wrote an excellent summary of what we're looking at here right now. The internal politics at the national level in the United States of America. I read similar articles pretty much 7 days a week. Some will talk about this, some will talk about that, different aspects of what we're looking at. Now, I chose Mike's article because I regard it as an excellent summary of what's been going on, what's going on right now, and the possibilities of what will happen the next 12 months. Yes, it's 12 months and actually almost exactly 13 months, quite frankly, until the first Tuesday of November 2020. That'll be here really quick. It'll be here so fast to make your head spin. 12, 13 months will fly by. I have friends I'm talking to about this. They're aware of it. They have a plan. They have not implemented the plan yet. They're going to be cut short. They're going to be caught short. They really are. Now, I've been at this a long time. I did my first paid professional consultation the summer of 1977, 42 years ago. I've been at this a long time. I've made every mistake that can be made along the way. I still do private consultations. my mistakes will be to your advantage, because I can warn you and head you off from making the same mistakes that I did. And like I said a moment ago, I've made every mistake that could be made when it comes to preparedness. And of course, I've made a lot of correct decisions along the way as well. It's a mixed bag. But the bottom line is you need to convince yourself of the reality of what Mike Adams is saying, the reality of what John Moore is saying. Once you convince yourself by doing your own independent research, then don't hesitate. Do not hesitate. There's an old saying I learned in basic training. On the battlefield, there's the quick and there's the dead. You can be pretty quick and still be dead, but that's one reason we shouldn't have borderline retard people in the military. They can't react quickly enough to save their own life, let alone help anybody else. And I've seen this firsthand. The Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, they were having difficulty finding enough young men smart enough to be drafted into the Army, so they decided to start drafting men who were semi-retarded and put them in a special program to attempt to get them to read at a third grade level over a period of about whatever it was, 4 to 8 weeks. And if they could coach them and tutor them and train them to read to a third grade level along with some other basic skills, they would go ahead and keep them in the military and put them through basic training. One of my outfits I was with at Fort Bragg, I was with the Continental Intelligence Command. They used guys from my outfit to be tutors for these young men. They were kept in a fenced enclosure so they wouldn't wander off and get hurt in traffic. It was, you see these guys walking around with these blank stares. It was really pitiful. We have a break. Call number is 800-313-9443. Rest and recuperation. We're leaving Florida Sunday, the 9th of February, returning a week later, the 16th. Valentine's Day, right in the middle. If you want this to be a romantic event for you and your special person in your life, well, it can be. We got some beautiful photographs there of couples enjoying their time on a cruise. This is a luxury resort on the water. 20 restaurants. This is the biggest ship there is. There's some bigger ships in the works, but as far as cruise ships go, this is as good as it gets. And of course, it's Royal Caribbean, which has an excellent reputation. So you can get the details there at my website. You've only got until the end of this month to reserve your cabin. Then we'll have to shut it down. So think about it, talk about it with your special person in your life, and I hope you can join us. If you don't have internet access, you can give our cruise director, Betsy Murphy, a telephone call. I'll give her number twice slowly, 636-530-9502. Betsy Murphy, our cruise director, 636-530-9502. She'll mail you a nice full-color brochure. We got a caller on hold here. We got Kenny in Louisiana. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, John. Hey, I read you the speech last night. I took a moment and sat down and read that speech on the China general.
Chinese general, yeah.
Yes, got my attention.
I hope so.
That will scare the living H out of you. I got a question. How old is that speech?
I'm not sure. We could probably do a bit of a research and find out, but I'm not sure that it matters. But I quite frankly don't know offhand, Kenny.
Yeah, okay. Well, I noticed some of the dates at the bottom were in the 80s, and I'm sitting, I'm just thinking about it last night, and I'm speculating, going, everything you're talking about in the 12 months during the elections cycle and stuff, I see problems coming too, and I'm wondering if maybe that isn't a precursor to what they're planning once they get us disturbed the way they were talking about in this speech and stuff. And then taking their action to gain what they want to do. It's a good time to do it. And one more question about it is, how would you protect yourself against that kind of a scene, or, from them doing that?
Right. Well, it won't be typical guerrilla warfare. In typical guerrilla warfare, the enemy does not try to destroy the entire population, only find and destroy the guerrillas. In this case, they want to kill all Americans. So it would be just all-out warfare with no prisoners and no battle lines. It would be your worst nightmare is what it would be, Kenny.
Yeah. I noticed the chemical, what they plan to do the worst damage with, and then come in and take it over. What would you do against the chemical?
Well, chemicals are not all that effective on the battlefield. They don't last that long. Typically, there's some warning that they're about to be used or are being used. Clearly, you need gas masks for protective equipment, and you evacuate the area. Typical chemical agents are dispersed within 24 hours to where they can cause no harm, although they sometimes can lay in low-lying areas, ditches, and low spots where they can linger for another couple of days before they disperse. Chemical, the experience for chemical warfare is really from World War I, and they're horrific weapons, but they're limited in what they can do. Biological warfare is more concerning. What the Chinese want is a biological agent that does not harm Asians. I don't know if they've achieved that or not, but that was one of their goals, Kenny.
Right, that's why I understood it too. Okay, I don't want to hold up your show. I'm enjoying it. I just read that last night. I thought, man, I got to find out this morning. But thank you, sir.
Thank you for the call, Kenny. We appreciate it. We don't have time for any more calls this half hour. We've got Tom Berryhill coming up on board here at the bottom of the hour. I hope that there's men in this alternative media that you know and trust. Besides myself, we've got Dave Hodges, we've got Mike Adams, Steve Quayle, Lisa Haven. It was kind of funny when I was in Dallas. Lisa was wearing these cute little outfits, and some of the women were complaining to the organizer about Lisa's outfits, and the organizer, another woman, she said, when I was her age, I wore those cute little outfits too, and if I could still wear them, I would. And basically, get over it. Yeah. But I hope there's the men and women in the alternative media that you know and trust, that you will pay attention to what we're all saying. As far as I can tell, we're all on the same page in terms of the threat that we perceive and how to deal with it. Here's our bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the Energy Cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much. right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 3rd of October. We do, in fact, take 24 minutes a week. Not very long. 24 minutes a week to talk about something that's helped literally, at this point, thousands of men and women get their lives back. In the case of people like my grandson, be high-performing athletes and everybody in between, with a marvelous product called the Energy Cleaner. We begin these conversations with my friend Tom Berryhill, the manufacturer of the Energy Cleaner, giving us our disclaimer. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
If I felt any better, it wouldn't be legal. How about yourself?
It's the same here, John. Here's our disclaimer. We're not doctors or medical professionals. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. The information discussed today is for your education and entertainment only. If you have a medical condition requiring treatment, you should utilize the services of a medical doctor, chiropractor, or other competent practitioner.
All right. Tom, day before yesterday, I got a call from one of our listeners. He, about two winters ago, he suffered severe frostbite. He was at the early stages of gangrene. And so I was on the phone with him 2 years ago, advising him on what to do, and he did get an energy cleaner. The prognosis from the medical doctors was not very good. He was at risk of losing toes, maybe an entire foot. And he got the energy cleaner. I never heard back from him until 2 days ago. And he says, John, it all cleared up. The black dead skin got smaller and smaller to it. Was one little speck about the size of a pencil eraser, and it fell off, and my foot's completely healed. And the reason he was calling is his puppy dog chewed up the power cord for the energy cleaner, and he wants to get a new one. But it was so gratifying to hear his story. Now, this is a good old boy from down in Tennessee. He's got the same accent as my very best friend that was best man at my wedding from Tennessee. And he is so grateful to have his appendages, his toes and foot saved by the energy cleaner. And it's very gratifying to hear these kinds of stories, isn't it, Tom?
It really is, and we've heard them before, similar situations, John. And so often what happens is that people get the energy cleaner, they get relief for their pain issues or other things such as this frostbite case, and we don't hear from them. That's what's amazing. Sometimes we never hear from them, and as they say, no news is good news. They get on with their life, and they rarely check back with us. But we'll hear from their friends and neighbors or family members that they want results for themselves, and they want to get one of these energy cleaner units like their friend or cousin or sister, brother has, and they want similar results. So that's how we hear about it secondhand.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, my energy cleaner will be packed with me when I go on my Caribbean cruise in February. And I know Leon Green will certainly have his energy cleaner. And I'm sure others will have their energy cleaners with them as well. So that'd be a fun trip, and I want to be as healthy, as energetic as possible on that trip, like I do every day of the week, which is why I'll have my energy cleaner with me, as I always do. When I make road trips, I got some road trips coming up in the not too distant future. I have my energy cleaner with me. It's kind of funny. I had lunch earlier this week with a friend, former counterintelligence agent, and the book The Art of War by General Sun Tzu came up, and I pointed to my car in a parking lot. I said, I've got the audio version of that right there in my car right now. And so when I'm on the road, Tom, I'll have The Art of War by General Sun Tzu audio book playing, and I'll be on my energy cleaner, and the miles will just melt away while I'm refreshed and energetic because of the energy cleaner. When I bed down for the night, I'll have the energy cleaner on the pad on the bed. Get up in the morning, wake up refreshed after a great night's sleep, pain-free, get back on the road, and it's just part of an overall healthy lifestyle that you and I both enjoy, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it really is, John, and it's an excellent way to keep yourself refreshed and ready to continue on your journey. using the energy cleaner in the car. A lot of the over-the-road truck drivers use them, and they report similar findings. So really helps quite a bit. I do the same on long trips. I'll take one along, not all the time on short trips, but always on a long trip, and it's always been very helpful.
Absolutely. If you're a new listener, and this is radio, we always have new listeners. We now have a new platform as of last week, Tom. My shows are now on Facebook. We're looking into 2 or 3 more platforms right now. My marketing lady up there in New York, Elizabeth, is doing a great job finding these things and helping me spread the word. So we always have new listeners. So here's John Moore, the homicide detective, and Tom Berryhill, the electrical engineering genius, talking about health. Neither one of us are healthcare professionals. No, I don't have those credentials. Tom doesn't have those credentials. But we have evidence. The evidence is there at our website, at my website, at thelibertyman.com. We've got the patent application information. We have testimonials from people like Steve Whitman. And Tom, I'll be talking to Steve Whitman today or tomorrow about getting him back on the air to talk about his newest book that he's working on and talk about how the energy cleaner saved his life. A remarkable story. The book that documents this, it's written as a novel, but it's full of factual information. And that book would be Winning Life's Lottery. Winning Life's Lottery. And it's a phenomenal book, the first book that Steve wrote. And here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. The energy cleaner is an electronic healing device. It is not a TENS unit. It is not a Rife frequency generator. It's entirely different technology. The energy cleaner puts out an electrostatic healing signal. Goes to every cell in your body, flushing out toxins, bringing in fresh nutrition. Your body has billions and billions of cells, and it goes to all those cells and helps them out. The cells that don't need help, they don't get help. The cells that do need help, they get the help they need, and that's how it works. We focus on 2 things: getting a great night's sleep and pain mitigation. If you got arthritis pain, you really need an energy cleaner. You're not getting a great night's sleep like I do every night, you need an energy cleaner. If you have both issues, then you really, really need an energy cleaner, don't you, Tom?
Yes, you do, and it will really, really help. So it's certainly a thing to look into if you're experiencing any type of pain issue especially. And so many other health issues can be given quite a bit of assistance by using the energy cleaner. Your body is an electrical device, believe it or not. It really is, and every cell works on electricity, and every cell is like a small pump, so it has to push out the toxic material, bring in fresh nutrition. The energy cleaner acts like a set of jumper cables to help every cell in your body perform its task.
Exactly. Now, my wife, Dr. Moore, left part of the heritage I got from her is a fairly substantial medical library. And there's hundreds of different things that people can be experiencing that are harmful. So I routinely get a call about at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. John, will the energy cleaner help me with XYZ? And I'll say, I've never heard of that, but let me ask you a question. Is there pain associated with XYZ? And they'll say, yes. Are you not getting a great night's sleep every night, which may or may not be associated with XYZ? And they'll say, yes. And I say, well, I don't know if the energy cleaner will help with XYZ, but I do know that the energy cleaner will help with the pain, and the energy cleaner will help with getting a great night's sleep. Those 2 things alone bring enough value to the table to make it worth $285, which these days, when it comes to healthcare costs, is pretty insignificant. And, of course, the mattress pad to go with it. You're looking at a total of less than $500 to get a complete kit to help you get a great night's sleep, help with the pain mitigation, and in many cases, get your life back, and occasionally, like with Steve Whitman, actually save your life. So, and to top it all off, I offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's from me to you personally, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a doubting Thomas, I encourage you to be a doubting Thomas. I embrace that. And it does not concern me whatsoever because I stand behind this 90-day money-back guarantee. If I did not, Mr. Statmiller, the owner of Republic Broadcasting, would have me out of here in a heartbeat. But he knows that I will stand behind this and honor it. And so that should give you some peace of mind, knowing that when John Moore says he stands behind the energy cleaner with a 90-day money-back guarantee, it's the real deal, isn't it, Tom?
Yes, it is, John. It sure is. And 90 days is more than enough time for anybody to find out if this technology is going to help them or not. And we have a very small percentage of people that doesn't help, but in almost every case it does help quite a bit, and especially on pain issues. Now, some people get immediate results very quickly, within an hour or less, while others, and I would say the average person, starts noticing differences in 2 or 3 days.
That's about it. Yeah, 24 to 72 hours is typically it. The wife of a local businessman that does a lot of work for me, working in my automobiles, she had issues with pain, issues with sleep. She did the clerical work for the business, and prior to using energy cleaner, she could only come into work maybe an hour or two a day. On good days, maybe half a day, never more than half a day. Now she's there all the time that she wants and needs to be there. She can engage in the social activities that she was not able to do. But she's basically got her life back, and she's really a happy camper because of the energy cleaner, Tom. And we had to start her out slow. It was too much at the beginning. We had to remove 6 of the 9 batteries, leaving 3 behind for the first 30 days. Then 6 the next 30 days, and then finally, after 90 days, she was at the full strength with all 9 batteries, and just as happy as could be. She got her. This is a young woman. She's about the same age as my daughter, and she's just as pleased as can be, Tom, that she got her life back, and her husband's just as happy also that he's got his wife back full strength, and they can engage in all the activities that they want to do together. It's so wonderful to help people get their lives back, isn't it, Tom?
Well, it really is. And John, you mentioned Steve Whitman. Look at how his wife got relief with her lupus. She had lupus and was dealing with that for many years. That totally reversed, and she's back to normal and tests negative repeatedly. It's got to be at least 4 or 5 years now. She hasn't had any trouble with it. 4+
years. We're probably getting into about the 5th year. In fact, we're real close to the anniversary when Steve was shot 3 times with a .45 caliber pistol. A day that will live in infamy for him, of course. I had a high school classmate die in the last week from lupus, and it's such a shame that here I am talking to 20,000 people this morning all over the planet, and people that I've known in my life aren't listening, aren't paying attention, and are suffering because of it. But that's just a sad fact of life, and I regret that. But I do what I can. Ladies and gentlemen, the energy cleaner is for sale at my website at thelibertyman.com. There's a drop-down menu under products. You can click on that. You'll find the energy cleaner. You'll find the mattress pads. Don't do this on the cheap. Start out, get the full package to begin with. The energy cleaner, the mattress pad, the travel pad, and do it right from the beginning. Many of you don't. I know you're trying to save some money, and I understand that, or I respect that. And then later on, you regret that 6 months or 12 months that you lost because you hesitated and so forth. Don't hesitate. Go ahead and bite the bullet, spend the money, get yourself an energy cleaner, the mattress pad for your bed, travel pad for when you're at work or traveling, and get your life back now. Every day you wait is another day lost, isn't it, Tom?
It really is, John, and now is best. Do it now, and with the money-back guarantee at 90 days, you can't go wrong. Everybody's going to know if this is going to work for them within that period of time. And so many things that it helps, John. It comes on very slowly. in some cases, and in so many times I've heard from people that they really didn't realize something was happening until after a few months. And they said, this doesn't hurt anymore, this doesn't bother me anymore, and just so many things turn around gradually, and
it becomes
and the best
normal.
part is,
yeah.
That's right, and it's a one-time purchase, except for the battery. So I tell people the cost of using this technology is about $1 per month. You need a fresh set of batteries on an annual basis. Once a year, you change the batteries, and mainly to keep the leakage, battery leakage, from happening, which can happen to any electronic device. The batteries are in there for a long period of time. They can leak and cause damage, but your cost will be about $12 a year, so that is $1 a month to use this. And it's so simple to use. There's no on-off switches or anything like that. Very simple to work.
Right. In addition to making a purchase at my website, you can use PayPal, by the way. PayPal is the most safe way, the safest way to make any purchase online, because you're not giving up your credit card information using PayPal. You can also call my toll-free auto line 24 hours a day. They're very polite young men and women in my hometown, St. Louis, not in Manila or in India. The toll-free number for ordering energy cleaner and mattress pads is 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. Tom, I'm sitting here looking at my inventory of mattress pads and my inventory of energy cleaners, all packaged up and stacked up nice and neat and organized. And this is my home business. When you place your order, I'm the guy that I personally pack these things. They go out priority mail. The energy cleaner has signature confirmation with it. And I take it to Little Country Post Office at Cherryville, Missouri, where tomorrow evening you can get all-you-can-eat catfish buffet for less than $8. How about that? This is a little country store. It's been around for a century. I've been told the first structure in Crawford County with an elevator. We do have a break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 3rd of October. Tom, the thing we hear all the time is people procrastinate a month, half a year, a full year before they finally wake up one morning and say, man, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of this pain. Why don't I give John Moore's energy cleaner a try? And they get it. A few days later, they're feeling better. And then the regret kicks in. Why in the world did I wait a month? Why did I wait 6 months? Why did I wait a year of lost activity when I could have been doing the things I love to do, hunting, fishing, golfing, whatever it might be? And we hear this over and over again, don't we, Tom?
Happens quite a bit, yes. And why do they wait so long? And then, of course, these been in production for nearly 20 years. It'll be 20 years next March, John. And people that have some of the earliest models are still using them. They work fine, and we can rebuild any of the units. If it does get damaged from battery leakage or anything like that, they can all be rebuilt to brand new specifications. So never a problem. You can't be sitting back worrying about that. It will last a long time, and it runs 24/7. You don't have to think about doing anything. Just set it up on your bed, couch, wherever you're going to use it, and set the energy cleaner on the floor, put it under the bed. It just continues to run. You do need to change the batteries once a year. That's as hard as it is to run this thing. It's so simple.
I understand. I know that. I know there's listeners right now because I've been in contact with them. They're saving their money to get themselves an energy cleaner and a mattress pad. I know that for many people, $500 is a lot of money. I understand that. I appreciate that. For many others, they're not procrastinating because of lack of funds. They're just simply procrastinating. The funds are not an issue. The issue is attitude. And attitude is very important. Your belief system is very important. The outcome you want to see is even more important. If you want the outcome, of waking up pain-free with more energy in the morning after a great night's sleep, like I do every night, like Tom Berryhill does every night, like Steve Whitman and his wife do every night, then don't hesitate. Bite the bullet, spend the money, get yourself an energy cleaner. You'll find you have more energy to do the things you love, which some of that could actually turn into extra income because you could do things that produce income that you didn't have the energy to do before. And just get on with it. And don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Right, Tom?
That's absolutely correct. Get on with it and give it a try. I think everybody will find it's an amazing device that will really help them in their lives, especially if you're having any kind of pain issue. We've had so many cases, John, where the people reported that morphine would not deaden the pain. The hospitals, the doctors would give them morphine drips. I'm thinking of one case in particular where the gentleman actually called in about his father-in-law. Morphine drip would not help him with the pain issues. The energy cleaner in one night solved this man's pain issue, and he was back out with his friends going golfing, going out to the coffee shops with his buddies, and living a regular life again.
There you go. Tom, thanks, sir. We'll have you back in the morning to talk about emergency communications.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Top of the hour break. We'll be back with Steve Hunt. Stay tuned. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 3rd day of October. The purpose tip of the day is to encourage you all to remember the events that took place today, October 3rd, 1993. That was when we had 19 Americans killed in action, 73 wounded in action in Mogadishu, Somalia, documented in the film Black Hawk Down. This is the half hour I look forward to every week when we speak to the John Moore Radio Show economic advisor, Mr. Steve Hunt. If you go to my website, thelibertyman.com, at the top of my homepage, you'll see what looks like a nice red package with a gold ribbon on it. Just click on that. That will be the landing page for Steve Hunt and Swiss America. If you don't have internet access and want to contact Steve, you can call him directly at 800-630-1491. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Really good. Well, Steve, all the impeachment talk has kind of pushed economic talk into the background, at least for the next couple of days, probably until Monday anyway, when this Ukraine narrative explodes in the face of the Democrats, which is in the process of doing. In the meantime, the economic issues have not gone away. The 900-pound gorilla in the middle of the living room, of course, is is it 22 or 23 trillion dollar national debt, and that simply has not and will not go away, will it, sir?
No, it's going to take a pretty big action to make that disappear.
Well, pretty big, and none of them are good for us in the long run. And nothing we can do about that debt as individuals. I know we got some high-level people listening to the John Moore Radio Show, but even most of them can't do anything about this national debt, which leads us to our own devices, doesn't it?
Well, it sure does. I mean, and you talk about debt. The funny thing is, you know, I've been doing a lot of research about these repos, and you know how we talked last week about the repos, how they authorize 3 14-day repo operations of $30 billion every night. Well, they've been doing additional repos that they haven't been talking about that have been exceeding $90 billion every single night. And it's all over the news. It's starting to come out. They've been taking between $90 to $100 billion a night. And a report came out actually late yesterday that talks about the two banks that are apparently driving this whole thing are J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America, and they're saying that the reason for it is Chase, J.P. Morgan, has a $2.7 trillion balance sheet, and Bank of America is at $2.5 trillion, and they're saying that they're both completely out of money.
Well, shame on them. And we're supposed to help them?
Exactly. Well, as always, it comes down to us. We have to help everybody out.
Well, I've heard refer to our government as Uncle Sugar. So they're, I mean, men and women at these banks, they're analysts and economists. These are very bright men and women. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did this knowing that Uncle Sugar would be there, that would be you and I, and all the other taxpayers would be there to bail them out once the inevitable consequences of what they were doing manifested themselves, didn't they?
Well, they sure did. I mean, you think back, it was over a month ago now that, I was on the radio with you, almost probably a month and a half, and I told you that J.P. Morgan put out the warning, and it's still on their website, where they're recommending to all their clients to get out of stocks, get out of cash, and get into Asian currencies or into gold. And they know that this is coming. They've planned this for quite some time. I think the problem is that whole too big to fail nonsense. Is that's their thought process, that they're never going to fail, that they can just keep on with the system, and that the government's going to back them out.
Well, they have a basis for that belief because it's happened in the past, and they have every reason to believe it would happen again. They may be in for a rude awakening, couldn't they be?
I think so. This is a different president, and he's putting different people onto the board of the Fed, and Christopher Waller and Judy Shelton, who they don't believe in these policies. That's why he's there. So I think this could be coming to a completely different conclusion as last time.
I would like to see the president treat these J.P. Morgan, these other banks, like a mature parent would treat a teenager. If you screw up again, I'm taking the car keys.
Yep.
That's what needs to happen.
It does.
To save the president will do what he needs to do to save the economy. Of course he will, and that's probably going to mean some sort of bailout. But there's going to be caveats. There's going to be conditions. There's going to be rules laid in place. The parent doesn't want to have to drive the kid to high school every morning. So in order to keep the kid on the road and safe, there's going to be safeguards put in place that will have checks and balances to prevent these people from taking advantage of us again, and put in safeguards that will last hopefully for decades into the future. We shall see. But I think that's what's going to happen, because we can't afford to have these banks are big enough to collapse the economy if they go down, and that's how serious this is on one hand. On the other, I have this is the first genuine businessman, maybe in a century or more, we've had elected president of the United States. He understands business. He understands human nature. He understands how to negotiate. And these banks, they're over a barrel. They have no choice except to agree to whatever the president mandates. And it will be tough restrictions and put in place on one hand. On the other, all of us out here can't count on the restrictions and all this working, can we?
No, we can't. I mean, will the president do everything he can to fix the system? Absolutely. But does it mean he's going to do it in time before it affects you or I, John? No. I mean, it's unfortunately, history has shown us that ultimately, it's the American people that end up paying a little bit of the price. Whether the dollar gets, devalued. I mean, sometimes you have to print more money, or you have to do something to the dollar to fix the system. And, we're all going to be affected by that. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a casualty of war.
Absolutely. Well, before we get to the next caller, I have a high level of certainty that President Trump has advisors that are experts in the economy, experts in human nature, experts in the federal law, what he can and cannot do, a focus group, if you will, that will help the president achieve the goal of both saving the country, saving the economy, bailing out these banks, and putting very serious restrictions on these banks so that they don't think that they can keep doing this in the future. Our caller here is Kyle in Montana. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning, gentlemen. I I have a question for you, Steve. A couple of them, a statement and then a question, actually. John Reagan goes through a bunch of stuff. He's on Vince Finelli's show every once in a while, and he has the website, the Financial State of the Union, and I've talked to him personally quite a few times, and he says basically there is nothing the president or Congress can do, even if they were to try to nationalize the Federal Reserve. He goes into why that wouldn't work, and or just telling them you're not going to pay it. There's no way out of this collapse that's coming. And my question was, I was wondering, have you guys followed the latest thing that Gerald Celente, who runs the Trends Journal, for the first time ever, he said he thinks that the financial collapse will happen by just after the 2020 election. And I was wondering kind of your opinion of that, Steve, and if you see, other than, I mean, even if you've got gold and silver and bullets and everything else, this collapse is going to be probably the worst that's ever been seen, because it's going to be a worldwide thing. If we go down, everybody goes down. Don't you agree?
Yeah, here's my honest to God belief. I think that this is going to be probably the worst collapse we've seen in our country, but I think it's going to be because our dollar is going to be devalued ultimately. I agree that there's really, unfortunately, Trump is battling the Fed so much, and Powell wants to go to war with them and doesn't want to, sit and talk with them and brainstorm together. And that's the problem, is that everybody seems to be against Trump. Nobody wants to sit and collaborate with the man because they don't want to give him credit. And I think that's the ultimate problem of our government, is nobody wants to get along. And you got this great businessman, and everybody says no, because if we sit down with them, everybody's going to say, well, Trump did it, and that's, it's their egos are getting in the way. And I think that, we have problems with Europe. We just placed another, I think it was $7 billion in tariffs on Europe last night. We got all these tariffs on China. No one's in any type of a trade agreement. And I've even heard rumors of back channels that we're in talks with these other countries about maybe going to some type of a gold standard with China and Europe to agree on trade. And if we can agree on that in trade, then they can go to maybe a different type of gold standard with currency. And what that means, though, for your dollars is your dollars will be completely devalued, and you'll have to convert it into a new currency system, just like if you were to go to Europe and convert your money into euros. But, I do think it's inevitable. My personal belief is I don't think that there's a way that we can get out of this unharmed. There's going to be some type of repercussions from it. And I have to agree that, it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen after the election. I think it's going to happen sooner than everybody is anticipating, because I don't see a way of this not stopping and coming to a halt between now and a year. I think that it's going to get worse sooner, but then I also think Trump's going to be able to put something in place to bring us out of it a little bit faster, which is going to help his reelection chances.
Interesting. Do you think what I am at least concerned about as much or more than the financial collapse is that even in the last depression, the Communist Party grew in leaps and bounds. And the civil unrest, I think, that would follow that type of a financial collapse in this country, if President Trump cannot do anything to do much to slow it down, would be so tumultuous that I think it would just be a pandemonium.
I agree. I mean, you're going to have people that anytime if you find out you've been robbed, you're going to be upset. And if people lose their money in their bank accounts, or their dollar gets devalued, people are going to be upset. And it's just the way it is. But I can't imagine that you're going to see rioting. I don't think it's going to be to that nature because the government will never. It's nothing against the government, but the government's never going to come out and tell you exactly the way it is. They're not going to come out and say, "I just took 70% of your money. Enjoy your day. There's a new currency coming out. Take care." They're going to they're going to shade it. They're going to hide the truth a little bit from you and kind of disguise what they're doing so that it's not so alarmful to you. And just like when they said quantitative easing, think about the word quantitative easing. We're doing quantitative easing 1, doing quantitative easing 2. We're trying to fix the system. All of a sudden, the stocks start going up and everything's getting better. Everybody's like, "Wow, this is great." But in essence, what you're doing is printing off $600 billion out of thin air, and you're creating more money to a system, which means you're devaluing the dollar. And the front side, it looks great. On the back end, it's horrible to us. Now you've gone from $1.50 a gallon of gas to $3 a gallon of gas. You have to look at the long-term effects of everything we do. It's not just about what's shiny and neat when they make the announcement. It's what's on the back end and how it affects your finances.
Yeah, I got one last question for you, then I'll let you guys go on. Gold and silver both have just been getting hammered lately, and I was wondering why you were... I mean, I knew they made a big run. Both of them made a good run up, and now they're all backing off, it seems, pretty quickly. I was wondering your opinion and reasoning for this.
This is China Gold Week. If you have followed anything that involves gold for any amount of years, this is called China Gold Week. This is the week that China goes completely cold. This is their new year. Their business, there's no business going on. They don't buy anything. This week, every year for the last, however many years, if you want to call me after the show is over, I'll send you 10 different charts to show every single year this exact same week. Gold and silver goes down because China's not doing anything, and the following week, it's exactly where it started last week. So it rebounds. It rebounds just as fast. I mean,
it's a cycle. All over. Yeah, it's a cycle in the culture of China. Yeah, it depends on the culture of China. Right.
I have this article actually that has a bunch of these on there. So if anybody wants to see it, either shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'll send it all to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Kyle, thank you for your call. And Steve Hunt's telephone number, once again, is 800-630-1491. The president knows that a strong economy will help him get reelected, that a economic downturn would harm his chances and be used by the opposition, even though he did everything he could. All right, we're back with Jeremy Moore on Thursday. It is Thursday, the 3rd day of October. You've got until the end of this month to make up your mind if you want to join us. Join Leon Green, myself, and others on our Caribbean cruise. I've never been on a cruise. It's going to be a fun event. I'm looking forward to it. If you choose to, it can be romantic. We got St. Valentine's Day right in the middle of the cruise. We're leaving Florida the 9th of February, returning a week later, the 16th. There's 20 restaurants on this ship. It's a luxury resort on the water is what it is. It's so huge we probably won't even be able to tell you're on the ocean, quite frankly. But all the details are at my website at thelibertyman.com. You want to join us? Give our cruise director a call. If you don't have internet access, Betsy Murphy will be glad to mail you a nice full-color brochure. She's our cruise director. Here's her telephone number, 636-530-9502. R&R with John Moore, the John Moore Patriot Symposium Cruise. Betsy's telephone number is 636-530-9502. Visiting with Steve Hunt. He is now affiliated with Swiss America after being gone and had his own business for years. Swiss America made him an offer he could not refuse, so he's back with Swiss America. And it's easy to get a hold of Steve. You can go to my website, click on that nice red package with the gold ribbon on it. That brings you to his landing page. If you don't have internet access, you want to contact Steve, have him mail you some nice little booklets about what's going on with our economy. Give Steve a call at 800-630-1491. Well, Steve, your concerns are valid and have a lot of evidence to back them up, and people need to pay heed and get a little bit of insurance. Insurance is something we talk a lot about in the preparedness community, and gold coins, silver coins, gold bullion, silver bullion is just another form of insurance on one hand. On the other, it's kind of fun. It's three-dimensional and not nearly as boring as making a payment for homeowners insurance, is it?
No, not at all. You actually get something in return.
You do. You do. Most people have a 30-year mortgage and homeowners insurance for 30 years and never do anything except pay premiums, ever. That's the majority of people. There's exceptions, of course.
Yeah.
But with this kind of insurance, you have a beautiful three-dimensional object, gold coins, silver coins, that you can keep in a safe place, that you know are there to give you some peace of mind, that you can leave as a legacy for your children, your grandchildren. I don't see anything except it being a win-win situation. Do you, Steve?
No, I agree, and it's what I tell every single person on the phone. Is it's exactly that. It's insurance. You know, you hope that you never need to use it, but it's there in case you do. You know, and it's not like, car insurance, house insurance, all those other, premiums that you pay, you never get nothing back in return. You actually get physical metal. I mean, it's in your hands. We don't store it for you. We don't hold on to it. It goes straight to your doorstep. You take it, you put it in your safe or wherever you want, hide it in the backyard. And should you ever need it, or you get into a bind, or you want to go on a cruise in February, you can cash it back out and use those funds.
That's right. That's right. Now, despite the fact that Swiss America does not provide storage services, you can make recommendations to people about how to properly and safely store their coins, can't you?
Oh, 100%. I know of all the big vaults in the United States. There's a couple that I would definitely recommend to everybody if you don't want it on your property. And I know what they charge. I've already have all that information and who we can talk to, so that's not a concern whatsoever.
Well, it is a concern to people, and you're prepared to properly and efficiently address that concern, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what, my main goal is to take whatever concerns you have and whatever your worries are and eliminate them. So, that's what insurance is for, it's a peace of mind. So if you're worried about, holding it, you're worried about where it's going to be, I even know the person, if you want to talk to them yourself, I can give you the number and you can call and talk to them and ask them questions. But personally, I would tell you, I like having it on your possession, in your property if possible, just because, if you're planning for the unexpected, my theory is that it's better to have access to your metal. You just don't know what's going to happen when things fall apart.
That's right. That's right. Well, the time to get started is now. Don't procrastinate. I talk about procrastination a lot when it comes to Energy Cleaner. This is another case where procrastination will not help you. You'll end up paying more for the coins in the future than you would pay for them right now. And procrastination can get to be expensive, can't it?
It can. Well, I mean, you think about how much gold has been up in the last 100 days. 20%, over 20% in gold and over 30% in silver. I mean, if you were going to invest $10,000, 3 months ago, and you're going to invest $10,000 today, you're just getting less metal in return. The longer you wait, the less you get.
Absolutely, and that's exactly how it works. If you want more information, give Steve a call at 800-630-1491, and you'll help customize a program just for these individuals, won't you?
Absolutely. We will talk together and figure out a plan.
Absolutely. Steve, thank you, sir. We'll have you back next Thursday. Appreciate it. We got about an hour break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the energy cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday. It is Thursday, the 3rd of October. We talked last hour for 24 minutes about the energy cleaner. Just a quick reminder, if you didn't hear the first hour, if you're tired of being tired, if you want to wake up pain-free in the morning, if you got arthritis pain, well, check out the energy cleaner. Seriously, do it for yourself. You want to get your life back. You want to get over the pain. Get a great night's sleep every night. Really check out the energy cleaner at my website at thelibertyman.com. You can place your order right there using PayPal, MasterCard, Visa. You can also call my toll-free order line 24 hours a day, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. I was talking to a friend recently about vaccinations and the DVD Vaxxed, that's VAXXED, Victor Alpha X-ray Echo Delta Vaxxed, winner of a film prize, a documentary film prize in Europe. A lot of controversy about the movie, the documentary. A lot of pressure was put on this film festival in Europe to not present it by some serious heavy hitters, financial heavy hitters in the pharmaceutical industry. We're going to have an article posted on my website later today, written by a woman who spent most of her adult life at very high levels in the pharmaceutical industry, and her analysis of what's going on. We talk about a lot of issues in the alternative media. Young Mr. Kennedy was going to come into the Trump administration and start telling the truth about vaccines. I don't know why, but I think I can pretty accurately speculate why he did not take on that assignment and carry it out. You have to pick your battles. Taking on the power of the pharmaceutical industry was more than Donald Trump wanted to do his first term of office. That's my belief. I don't have any facts to back that up. That's my belief based on what I know about human nature and what can be done, what can't be done, on one hand. On the other, I feel there's a high level of certainty that when Donald Trump is reelected, that Mr. Kennedy will be back full force, exposing the truth, exposing the lies about the pharmaceutical industry and the vaccine industry that really, really needs to happen. We're killing ourselves. I just ordered a book off Amazon. I mentioned this earlier this week, a book titled Seeds of Deception, and gets into documenting the harmful effects of genetically modified food. You need to study up on this, just like I am. I'm still learning. I had some slight knowledge. I've read the first few pages of the book, at a friend's home, and I decided I need this book for myself, so I went ahead and ordered it. And I might just interview that author. There's similar books out there. I'm going to find one of these authors and interview that person on my show about the harmful nature of these vaccines, of the genetically modified foods. I had dinner with Tom Berryhill a couple of nights ago. We were at our favorite restaurant, which is a truck stop, and the waitresses there all know us, and we've been meeting there now for a number of years since our other favorite restaurant closed. Our other favorite restaurant was bought by a Muslim, and he destroyed the business. It was literally one of the nicest restaurants in town there in Cuba, Missouri, but everything he did wrecked the business, and another guy bought it and attempted to resurrect it, but it was too broken, unfortunately. Getting back to the topic at hand, Tom and I were having dinner, and you can't help but observe what's walking past you, the patrons of the restaurant, men and women who can barely walk because of pain issues, because of obesity, and the combination of the two. All of which is due to diet, poor choices in diet, and the modification of the food itself. That's where the genetically modified food comes in. I hope to learn more about the harmful effects of genetically modified food so I can keep myself healthier and hopefully advise anybody who will listen. Hopefully my daughter will pay attention. She's a very bright young woman, and sometimes she pays heed, sometimes she doesn't. She's got her own mind. She's going to do what she thinks she needs to do. But at least I can provide the information, and that will be her choice as to nutritional decisions for her and her family. And that goes for all of you out there. When I get information that I have confidence in as being legitimate and verifiable, scientifically based, not make-believe, I will pass it along to you, and then you all can do your own individual homework and make your own decisions. That's what we do with talk radio. The job of talk radio is to entertain and inform. That's what we do. We entertain and we inform. I know many of you out there, hundreds of you sit there with a pen and piece of paper handy when you listen to Republic Broadcasting, because you don't want to, if something is being given, the title of a book, the title of a movie, and so forth, maybe a vendor selling different products, you write that down so you can get that book, get that DVD, get that product, whatever it might be. And that's the way it should be. That is the way it should be. And I know, I think it was last week, I was talking about the Catholic belief that the Pope is infallible. Well, I was corrected live on air, and I accept that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And we had a couple of listeners. One called in live, Glenn in Philadelphia. Thank you, Glenn. And I had emails from a couple of others saying the conditions under which the Pope is considered infallible. It's not 24/7, 365. There are certain specific conditions under which the Pope's writings and words are considered infallible. Not all the time. That was my mistake, due to my lack of knowledge. I'm just looking at my website here. I got this. There's a photograph here of Dr. Hardy Limeback. Now, Dr. Limeback is a dentist, but not just a dentist. He's a former president of the Canadian Association for Dental Research. Pretty serious credentials in that profession, I would say. How humiliating. How humiliating to learn and find out that what you've been telling your entire country, Dr. Limeback, was wrong, was incorrect, and harmful. That being recommending that sodium fluoride be ingested by human beings in drinking water and by any other method, toothpaste, mouthwash, rinses at the dentist office, fluoride treatment of teeth. It was that his recommendations were wrong, that they were harmful, and he learned that they were wrong and harmful, and he went public to apologize to everybody in his country, apologized to his parents, apologized to his spouse, apologized to everybody he went to school with, that he goes to church with, all his professional associates, everybody in the entire country. Dr. Lineback apologized to. The former president of the Canadian Association for Dental Research. But that was the right thing to do. It was. And here we are in the lower 48 in the United States doing exactly what he found out independently through his professional expertise. Most of our major cities put this harmful, dangerous, poisonous substance in the drinking water. Most people listening to me right now put a harmful, dangerous substance in their mouth every day. It's called toothpaste with sodium fluoride in it. Go to the medicine cabinet. I did this live on the air on my St. Louis show, and I had a woman call in. She said, John, it's just what you said. Go to your medicine cabinet, pull out your tube of toothpaste, and you'll find on there it says, if you swallow the toothpaste, call poison control. How much more do you need to know? If you swallow the toothpaste, call it poison control. Is there any reason to do that except it being poisonous? Why else would you call poison control if it's not poisonous? Now, that's almost everybody listening to me. Almost everybody has a tube of toothpaste in their medicine cabinet right now on the 3rd day of October, 2019, that says right there on the package, if you swallow the toothpaste, call poison control. Why would you even put it in your mouth? Now, we have a lot of mothers out there. We sometimes call Doc Mom. Mom is the primary health care provider for all families most of the time. And Doc Mom knows that many pharmaceutical products, medicines, they direct you to put it under the tongue. That mucous membrane under the tongue absorbs anything put there into the bloodstream instantly, pretty much as quick as a hypodermic needle, which means whatever you put in your mouth, including sodium fluoride in the toothpaste, which is going to be under your tongue, of course it is absorbed into your bloodstream instantly. Why would you put a poisonous substance into your mouth at all, no matter how tiny, no matter how small? Why would you do that? And chances are most of you have been doing it for decades. What's the consequences of sodium fluoride being in your body? Well, here's a nice one. It calcifies your pineal gland. In Asian medicine, they refer to it as the third eye. It actually looks like an eyeball, quite frankly. It's right in the middle of your brain, right in the middle of your brain, the pineal gland. Having a properly functioning pineal gland is not optional. If you want optimal health, optimal well-being, optimal energy, having a properly functioning pineal gland is not optional. And the sodium fluoride calcifies it. You think that might just be harmful? Maybe just a little bit? Of course it is. Of course it is. Now, there are toothpastes that don't have sodium fluoride in them. There's mouthwashes that don't have sodium fluoride in it. Maybe you need to throw out what you've got where it says on the package, if you swallow it, call poison control, and get toothpaste that doesn't have that warning on it. You think children might just swallow something that tastes really good? Tasty toothpaste? Of course they will. There have been children die right in the dentist chair because of sodium fluoride poisoning from what was supposed to be a beneficial rubbing of treatment of sodium fluoride in their teeth. It's not, sodium fluoride does not help your teeth. That's a fantasy. It harms the teeth. It harms every organ in your body. It makes your bones brittle. Very foundational stuff. You cannot hope to be healthy unless you eliminate certain things. This is one of the easier things to do, is to eliminate sodium fluoride from being consumed. Get yourself a good quality Berkey water filter with a special fluoride filter like I've got. Stop using the toothpaste with sodium fluoride in it. Stop using mouthwash with sodium fluoride in it. Refuse anything the dentist may want to offer that has sodium fluoride attached to it, some kind of rinse or treatment to your teeth. And let the body heal itself. The body has remarkable powers to heal itself. That's what the human body has. I don't know what it takes to uncalcify a calcified pineal gland. I simply don't have that knowledge. I do know it's beneficial to stop ingesting a poison. How dangerous is sodium fluoride? It's incredibly dangerous. It is toxic. It can and will kill you. That's how toxic this stuff is. You need to read up on it. Do your own independent research. At my website, when you go click on there with Dr. Hardy Lineback, you'll find his video, the article he wrote, and then a long list of peer-reviewed medical journal articles that go on and on and on. References, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, it goes on and on and on. I'm not going to count them all for you. I'm not going to, you can see that for yourself. Most of you are not going to read those peer-reviewed articles. I know that. You're busy. You got a lot to do. It's simple. It's easy. There's not going to be any expense of any consequence. You trade one toothpaste for another. Would the non-fluoride toothpaste cost slightly more? Maybe. So what? Use baking soda, nothing else. You can brush your teeth with baking soda. Nothing wrong with that. That'll get your teeth nice and clean and sparkly. The main thing to stop is to take that sodium fluoride toothpaste and put it in the trash where it can cause no harm. Let it go to the landfill. Do it for yourself. If you have adult children not living on their own using this sodium fluoride toothpaste, print out Dr. Lineback's article and hand it to them. They may pay heed, they may not pay heed. Walk to that adult child's medicine cabinet, take out their tube of toothpaste and read the warning. If you swallow the toothpaste, call poison control. How many tens of millions of medicine cabinets in this country has a tube of toothpaste with that warning on it? Many tens of millions. And nobody, well, hardly anybody's read that warning. It's right there. It's what they call a black box warning. It's got a little box around it to hopefully kind of get your attention. I'm sure that there was negotiation and compromise.
Family, because you can handle the truth.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 3rd of October. Tomorrow morning, Tom Berryhill will be back with us. The first hour, we'll be talking about emergency survival communications. I was at a conference a week ago with a friend of mine, local guy. We're talking about preparedness and communications came up, and I mentioned how as long as if it's a civil disorder, we're facing common criminals that will be using our radios to communicate back and forth on one hand, on the other. If we're looking at United Nations forces here, communist Russia and China, we're not going to be talking on the radio at all. It's going to be couriers delivering messages is what it's going to be, and other methods that do not involve using radios. There's a lot of value to having this knowledge, how to use ham radio equipment, how it works, why it works, how to set it up, how to make proper use of it. There's knowledge you need before you can do that properly, yes, or you won't be successful. The second hour, we hope to have Dr. Lynn Wilbert with us. He missed last week. I've not been in touch with him, and I got some unusual tones here in my ear, but I don't know what that means. We hope Dr. Wilbert will be with us second hour to talk about health-related issues. Our Monday show continues to draw really good numbers. Sam Andrews has a big following. When Remington Arms, the oldest firearms manufacturer in the United States, approaches you to take over and salvage their precision rifle division, you think you might just maybe kind of sort of be at the top of your career when you've got those kind of credentials. Well, that's where Sam Andrews is. That's exactly where he is. He builds world-class rifles. He has his own proprietary cartridge he developed, the 30 caliber Wolf, which I've shot that rifle, and it's an amazing rifle. I watched this man shoot that rifle at 1,000 yards from the standing position at a steel plate, a 2x3 foot steel plate, and hit that steel plate first shot. I still got that steel plate. So that's Firearms Monday. A lot of fun. My friend Steve Ben Noon on Tuesdays, the first hour. Steve, former CIA guy, he and I were both speakers, and I just got a fresh stock of the DVDs. And by the way, The Heavens Are Shaking, where myself and Steve Ben Noon are speaking at this event. Steve's a great guy. We talk privately once or twice a week. We do that 1 hour on Tuesdays. And Steve shares the same concern that I do, that Mike Adams does, that Steve Quayle does, Dave Hodges, my friend Paul Martin, Lisa Haven, and others, that civil disorder is very, very highly likely after this November 2020 election, 13 months away. I guess I should start saying 12 months away. Pretty close. Pretty close. Leon Green, the second hour on Tuesday. It's a lot of fun with Leon. That's it for the day. Get your medical supplies, your energy cleaning, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Please do a fun, safe, productive day. And God bless America.